Hey, it's Tina Lorraine, and it is Wednesday. And so this is your Talk with Tina, the Wednesday edition. I hope your day is going well. I hope you are thinking thoughts based out of love, based out of peace, based out of joy, based out of confidence of who you are and how important you are to God. And I hope your day is going well. So I wanted to jump on, and I was writing my newsletter, which will be going out as soon as I'm off this live. And if you haven't joined the newsletter yet, you need to join. The link is in my bio. Click on the link, go over there and join the newsletter. They're very inspirational. And I thought I'd jump on and talk about what I was writing about today. And that is God knows your address. I also did a couple of shorts on this today. So if you have ADD and you can't do long form video, check out the shorts on either my YouTube or TikTok. Just follow me at Tina Lorraine. I think on YouTube I'm at Ghostwriter Guru, but you'll find me if you put my name in. So God has your address. God has your address. What does that mean? Well, sometimes we get into the thought or the mindset that because maybe we've been waiting a long time for the vision to come to pass in our lives, maybe we've been waiting a long time for changes that we prayed about to God, that He doesn't see us or He doesn't hear us. And somehow we have missed God. Somehow we have missed our blessing. Or we live with this fear notion in the back of our minds. Did we miss God? Did we miss our blessing? Am I going to miss God? And I'm here to tell you, I am just thoroughly convinced that there is no way ever that you can miss God or God can miss you. And I used to be of this mindset, and I used to hear it a lot in church. You know, if you don't come to church, you're going to miss your blessing. You're going to miss God. You're going to miss this. You're going to miss that. And, you know, I understand church culture now, and I'm not coming and saying anything bad about it. But what I'm saying is you have to understand when you're, religious mindsets. So you're not going to miss God if you miss church. You know why? Because God made you, and God is everywhere, and God knows where you are. So I'm going to read part of Psalm 139. I think it's verses 13 through 16. And I'm gonna come back on and I'm gonna back up the statement I just said. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Now, you really think that God don't know where you are after reading all that? Or that He would let you miss Him? He would let you miss the blessing? I don't think so. That right there tells me that God has a a shared location with you before you even were born or birthed out of your mother's womb. Before you became a physical being, God had His shared location GPS tracker on you. He knows everything about you. So do you really think that you miss God or God missed you because you haven't seen what you've been praying for yet? No, this is where it comes to renewing our mind. We have to believe what God tells us above what we think if it goes against our faith, right? So this is what I want to encourage you about. God does not lose sight of you. He don't play about you, as the saying goes. He does not play about you. He knows where you are at all times. God is everywhere. And God ain't blind, right? God is not blind. God knows where He placed you. God knows where you are in your walk. God knows what it's going to take to get you where you need to go. I always tell you guys this. So there's no way that you can miss God. How are you going to miss God when He knit you together in your mother's womb? How are you going to miss Him when, your frame was not hidden from you when when you were made in the secret place, when you were woven together in the depths of the earth. Does that sound like a God that's going to have you miss him, or he's misplaced you and can't find you to give you the blessings, to manifest the blessings? Does it sound like that? No, of course not. When we read and when we really get that in our spirits and when we meditate on it, we're like, wait a minute. Okay, so I haven't seen what I'm praying for. So I haven't seen the behavior change. I don't have the wife. I don't have the husband. I don't have the relationships. I don't have the business. I don't have the book. I don't have whatever you believe in God for. But does that mean that God has left the building? No, it does not mean God has left the building or has lost sight of you. It does not mean you have missed God. All it means is that you are in a process and everything is coming to pass. Just like God told you, the vision will tarry. God already said the vision was going to tarry. That means it's going to, in what we consider, take some time. It's going to, it's not going to happen overnight. And it doesn't mean that every little thing that you pray for is not, that you have to wait this long time. All it means is that we have to trust God with the doors that need to open, with the people we need to meet, with the resources that we need, with the fact that he's not forgotten us. He always promises that he never forgets us or forsakes us. But I think sometimes we read the word and we just read it. But it's just like, I don't know, it's just like reading a textbook. We read it, but we don't get it in our hearts, in our minds. We don't renew our thinking to it. So therefore, as soon as trouble happens, or as soon as the plans don't go according to the way we planned, we kind of forget that a good man's or good woman's steps are ordered by the Lord, right? So even though you have your plan, then there's God's plan. And then, when it starts looking kind of funky or stanky, you be like, okay, God, did you forget I was here? Did you not hear me? Can you hear me? Have you misplaced me? And God wants you to go back and say, you know what? I know you haven't misplaced me, God, because I know you're jealous over me. I know it says right here that all your days are ordained for, okay. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. There's a whole book on you. There's a whole book on Tina. There's a whole book on you, whoever's watching. So you think if God wrote that whole book and numbered the hairs on your head, that he's going to forget where you are, that you're going to miss him, that you're going to miss the blessing, that you haven't heard him or he didn't hear you? That is just not true. God always hears, God always sees, God always knows. And God knows you better than you know yourself. He knows what it's going to take to get you from point A to point B. So though the vision tarries, still wait for it. And that goes for me too. I was getting kind of fretful about certain things God was speaking to me about change in my life. And while I feel I'm on the cusp of a breakthrough, the breakthrough hasn't happened in the physical yet. And so I was getting a little weary. I was just like, you start groaning like you want to just give up, or you want to complain, or you just get tired. You get tired and weary and well-doing. The thing that God tells us not to get tired in, and don't faint. I felt like fainting, y'all. You ever felt like fainting when in this thing with God, you're walking with God, you feel like fainting? You're like, okay, I see Susie over there is getting her blessings, and Jonathan over there is getting his, and Akeem over there, he seems to be doing well, and Gretchen and, Toya over there, they're all doing good. But it seemed like you forgot me, God. Is there something wrong with me? Did you forget where I'm at? Did I not do something the right way? That's another way we get caught up in that. It was like, did I not do something? Did I not pray enough? Did I not affirm myself? Did I not? And it ain't got nothing to do with that. God knows where you are at all times. Yes, we should do all the things we need to do to get closer in our relationship with God. But it's not about legalism. It's not about rituals. It's not about, did I burn sage through the house? Did I cleanse, let all the spirits fly out, or whatever you're doing with that sage? I don't know what people do. There's some kind of cleansing thing it's supposed to be. I don't know. I never did it. But it has nothing to do with how many prayers you prayed, or if God didn't hear it the first time. that you have to keep praying it. The only reason you really keep praying things and keep asking for things is because you're just building up your confidence and you're standing in your position and you're boldly saying before God, I haven't forgotten. Because once you ask, you can keep asking, but the prayer turns more into speaking God's promises back to God. Not because God forgot, but because basically we forget who we are. And we need to stand up and recognize who we are. And as we're doing these things, as we're, growing in the areas that we need to grow in, and we're seeing the inside job, we're seeing our hearts change, we're seeing the past, the past people we used to be. We see them, we see ourselves growing and really walking in forgiveness and joy and peace and all these things. And we're like, I know I'm changed, so why don't I see? That means God forgot about me. And it's not, no, God knows what it's going to take you to get from point A to point B. And even though you feel like you're ready, like I do now for these certain things, it's like, I'm ready today now. I'm expecting it today. I get up in expectancy every day, regardless if I see it or not. And that's the way you should wake up every day. Expecting God to do right by you, expecting miracles, expecting love, expecting peace, expecting joy, expecting a good end, expecting God to be good to you. I always get up with that mindset. And then when I become confused and have like really stinking thinking, so they call it, if I find myself going down a trail that's not aligned to God's love and God's joy, God's character, then I ask God to help me, and I'm not necessarily on my, I rarely even pray on my knees, God. I just pray. I just talk. I just say what I got to say. I meditate. I sit in quiet, and then I pray to God. And this is something that I do. It's not just in the morning, although I do like to wake up and meditate first thing in the morning because it sets my heart for the day. And it helps me to rebound quicker if I find myself thinking things that I shouldn't be thinking, and it affects my emotions. And then I'm like, wait a minute, how did I get here? But as I go through the day, I'm always like, in my mind, I'm either singing a song that's just about love, or I'm thinking about, things that of good report. And I've had, I didn't used to be this way. I used to wake up thinking, what do I have to do? Let me get through this day the best way I can. Oh God, I got to go to this job. Oh my goodness, and I'll be exhausted by the end of the day. And then I would get up and repeat the same madness for years until I started really healing and started really being mindful. All mindfulness is just thinking about what you're thinking about all during the course of the day and thinking, are these thoughts serving me? Because whatever I'm thinking about, eventually I'm going to become, I'm going to manifest. Whether I believe it or not. You can believe it or not. I'm telling you, it's the truth. Whatever your thoughts are, the predominant thoughts, the ones you believe with your heart, with all your power and mind, those are the ones that come to fruition. That is why it's so important for us to renew our mind, to align our mind to God's love. And so I just wanted to jump on and encourage you that God has not forgotten your address. Just because you have not seen manifestations yet does not mean that you won't. You just have to faint not. And if you do get weary, ask God for strength. Because when we are weak, God becomes stronger within us. But in order for us to admit that we're weak, we have to humble ourselves. And that could be hard within itself, humbling yourself, because we don't like to be humble. I know I don't. But I've learned that I am not God, even though I'm God's creation, even though I might be a mini God, meaning I'm a mini godchild, a child of God. I operate the same way my daddy does. And my daddy shows me how to operate. That's the way I operate. But at the same time, I have to know balance, and I have to know when to let go, when to surrender, and just let God be who God is going to be. Be the open and willing vessel. Do the stuff that I need to do, align to love, align to peace, align to joy, get the help, do all the healing work, continue to do it, and then let just God, if you need to be humbled, just embrace it. It's not the best feeling in the world, but what you have to understand is when we have to humble ourselves, first of all, it's better if you choose to do it. Because if you don't choose to do it, God will allow circumstances to humble you. And you don't want that. Even though, it happens, whatever. However you get humble, get humble. Get humble, ask for help, ask God for help, ask God to send help, ask God for instruction, ask God for guidance and counselors and wisdom. Speaking of which, if you haven't scheduled your talk with Tina, then you need to. The link is in the bio. If you're on IG, the link is in the bio. If you're on TikTok, my link is not in the bio yet, so you would either have to DM me. If you're on YouTube, you could just click the link in the profile page. And if you're on Facebook, you can DM me. So yeah, schedule your talk with Tina, where he's like, why do I need to talk to you? It's like, well, for the same reason you're listening to me now. God gives us different gifts and gives some people clarity, insight, and wisdom. Not that you don't have it, but I operate in it. I'm not trying to be God in your life. What I am is a spiritual life coach, healer, mindset coach. And I can make, what happens when I talk to people is God shows up and makes the crooked places straight. And I don't say that boasting. I say that in all humbleness of heart, because it happens over and over and over again. And he only uses me to give you that insight you need to move on in your path. So if you're stuck with something, you become unstuck. You become inspired. And when you become inspired, you want to continue to walk with God. You want to continue to bring the vision, to manifest the vision through your life. And so God gives us help. You're not going to get through this walk without help. I didn't. It's just knowing when to align to the help and who God is giving you to help you. So that's all I got for you today. And I want you to just go back and meditate and listen to this video again, that God knows your address. He has not forgotten you. He has not forsaken you. He knows exactly where you are. He knows the inward parts of you. He knows how you think, who you hang around. He knows what you're struggling with. He knows what you prayed. He knows you inside and out. The whole book is written inside and out. He knew you before you were even put in your mother's stomach, womb, tummy. So therefore, if you're not seeing the vision or manifest yet, don't lose heart. God hears you. God sees you. God doesn't play about you. He's very jealous over you. Hello. Hi, Bill. Hi, Halima Muhammad. I'm so sorry you came on the end of this, but go back and listen to it because it's a good message. And if you haven't joined the newsletter, please do so. Okay? I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.